What's up, fellow gobbies? This is Nikki.
This is Mike. Hello, hello.
Welcome to Talking Trash. We are very excited to finally get a chance to sit down in the same room and record a podcast because, trying to record from a distance when there's lag and stuff. I don't know how these guys do it. We're figuring it out though. So we have been meaning to release episodes for all of the various events that we've done already this year, but that has not happened. So we're going to do a whirlwind recap of all of the events that we've done already in 2022, and then, let y'all know what we're going to be up to next.
Yeah. So wait, what have we done this year? What's the first thing we did this year? I guess C2, right?
No, because that was December.
Oh, right.
We could talk about it.
Well, we have to talk about it because it was still close enough to this one.
Okay.
So we did C2, I did PAX.
We did Georgia Ren Faire.
Georgia Ren Faire. We did ACEN out here.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're heading towards C2 Part 2.
In Bristol.
And Bristol.
And Dragon Con. Next couple months are going to be wild. Okay, so let's start with C2E2. C2E2 is December 2021.
Yeah. And that was the first time it was open since COVID was thrown. Actually, C2E2 was the last thing I did before COVID kicked off.
Yeah.
And then it was the first thing I did when COVID started to sort of get under control.
Right, we started seeing masks at C2E2, but it was only like a very small percentage of the people.
Right.
And that was when we did our Ninja Turtles cosplay in 2020. And I remember little girls coming up to me to take pictures of me as Squirrel Girl in my mask. I'm like, I'm sure that they don't know who I am, but they just like my big bushy tail.
No, I'm telling you, Squirrel Girl is a bigger deal than we both realize, I think. Especially for like younger demographics. I was already a fan of Squirrel Girl, and I didn't know of her importance until I started talking to people that saw you walking around, and they're like, did you ever see this issue where she was beating up Thanos? And I was like, oh.
Yeah.
We never did get around to reading her stuff, and we need to.
Yeah, it's on my list for sure before I reprise that costume again.
Yeah.
So yeah, 2021 C2E2 was like weird though. It was like, it felt like a post-apocalyptic con a little bit.
Remember Friday where there was like nobody on the con floor?
Yeah.
C2E2 is always, it's not always wall to wall, but there's always a big presence of people. And that day, man, it was just, for for an introvert, it's kind of the best day when we just walk in there. I was saying there's just enough nerdity and weirdos around to appreciate each other, but not so much that we were like, bumping butts trying to get through hallways and stuff. So that was perfect for me. It was bizarre.
I was super okay with it. I think the thing that was a kind of a bummer was just that, like, the people that we might have seen otherwise weren't there.
Yeah.
And that kind of sucked. And then the other big kind of bummer was that, like, there was a palpable, yes, that's the word. Palpable feeling of, like, everybody just kind of, like, forcing themselves to do the things, but not really.
I think by the end of the con, it felt like that. The first 2 days felt a lot more like, oh my god, I haven't seen you in forever.
Yeah, that's true.
Even if it was, we didn't see as many people as we wanted to. It was randos that I was connecting with, which is actually kind of cooler in a lot of ways. I think just everybody breathing a sigh of relief that they could do this stuff again. Like, having to wear the masks while we're doing cosplay, like, we know it's necessary, but it's a bummer because we have faces, and that's a big part of a lot of the costumes that we do.
Yeah.
Like, especially me making my stupid, goofy facial expressions in pictures with other people. So that was a little more challenging, but
I feel like I missed so many opportunities to work masks into, like, crazy masks into things. Like, when everything started, I really wanted to make just, like, gnarly latex looking masks to, like, wear around, especially living in Georgia.
Yeah.
But then and even for C2E2, I'm like, why couldn't I just, like, work the masks more into my costume? And pick costumes that had the mask. Like, at some point, I thought I would do Mondo Gecko again and, like, make a snout, like, I don't know what you call it for a gecko. It's not a snout. Like the note,
I forgot we were talking about that. You were talking about actually giving you, like, a relief popping out of your head. Yeah, the snouts, I guess. Why not?
But, I could have done... I mean, I know why I didn't. It was because I was exhausted. Mm-hmm. in every possible way.
We still should do that, though.
Yeah.
I think you should have multiple variants of Mondo just because he's dope as hell and nobody ever sees him.
It would save me from having to remake my braces.
That's also true.
Save me a lot of paint job.
We can work on that, Mouth, while you're here. I can work on I can work on a base for it, and then you can do the final details.
Maybe.
Yeah. Latex over EVA foam or something.
Maybe.
It's like that one picture of from the movie of Ninja Turtles when I think it's like Raph laughing. You can see the actor inside of it going, ha, 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 with his little tiny mouth. That's what it's going to look like, but I think that makes it even better.
I'll think about it. I like the way I did it the first time.
It looked really good.
I just want to do it a little bit better this time, where I'm not rushing and painting my face for 9 freaking hours.
Yeah, you need to. You rushing a costume, it always turns out really good, but man, does it take a toll on that mental health, man.
Oh, yeah. Next year's off my life, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But, it's the name of the game, I suppose.
Yeah.
We're working on getting better at that, but I don't know if that's a realistic goal.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we've kind of taken, we've been, diametrically opposites on this particular thing for, a few years now, where I'm just like, screw it. Whatever I got is what I got. But I'll put the effort in, and at some point when I realize I put enough effort in, then I'll just be like, okay, I'm ready. All right, this is as much as I'm going to do, and then maybe I'll do little stuff in between. But you are the queen of, crushing it till 3 a.m. and doing all your toughest work under the wire, which nowadays would literally kill me. So.
Yeah. I heard something somewhere, though, that, there is a going theory about that in, I don't know if it's psychiatry or what, that the reason people do that is because it's fucking efficient.
Oh, it is.
I was like, I guess so, huh?
I can't quite last minute stuff.
It takes pressure off, too, because then you can't be a professional. You can tell yourself, in the time frame that I had, this is what I was able to do. Instead of, trying to be like, I knocked it out of the... You know what I mean?
That's a pretty good Jedi mind trick.
Yeah.
Interesting.
On yourself, but yeah.
Yeah. So. Well, hell, 90% of my Jedi mind tricks are on myself anyway, so I got no control over anybody else.
So what was the highlight and the worst thing about C2E2 2021?
That freaking dance party was really fun.
Yeah.
And I am not a party guy. I'm not a dance party person. I don't drink. I don't do a lot of the nightlife type stuff. But since we started doing the weird parties and nightlife stuff afterwards, that one in particular, and that was another thing, at that particular dance party, that was when all the people that I knew started showing up at the end of the night. So, Deb showed up, and then we saw Michael, and it was just a cool gathering of all our freaking nerds that just showed up at the same spot.
We need to have that guy over.
We do. I still have his hoodie.
There's just so many random people that we have met at C2E2s over the years that, we don't necessarily even have, fandoms or anything in common that much. Yeah. They're just, cool-ass people that I'm like, who are you? Hi, I'm standing in this line over here. Or sitting next to you or whatever.
I think it was Patty had the best line ever when she came to play board games with us, and she had no idea what she was doing. She was just like, I'm just happy to be here, guys. And that's exactly how I feel with a lot of the C2E2 stuff. It's I'm happy to be around here. I don't know what the hell you're doing, but this is great.
And every year I act like I'm going to have a plan for that con. I'm going to do this, then I'm going to do the schedule. Yeah. I'm going to make it to a thing this year. No.
Well, that's Rosie's volunteering for that now.
Is she?
Because if it wasn't for Rosie, it wouldn't have gone to any of those panels.
That's true.
We saw the Japanese.
So she's just going to be our organizer? Yeah. Oh, God,
She volunteered for it.
I love her.
Yeah. She was the one that's just I would have been to a lot more that day if I wasn't so,
for all of you listening, Rosie has she has a little shout out on our page. She is one of our goblins.
Hell yeah, she is.
She's a HQ goblin.
She's the beating heart of trash goblins.
Yeah.
Man, she's such a good cheerleader.
She's not necessarily a cosplayer, which is fine. We hang out with all kinds of people. But she is definitely, especially for Mike, because for all y'all listening and who don't know, I live in Georgia most of the time. So, and then we co-own Trash Goblins HQ. So when I'm in Chicago, which is fairly often, I have somewhere to sleep that's not my parents' house.
Yeah.
But Rosie's here with Mike all the time.
Yeah, we're always doing art nights, craft nights, movie nights, whatever. So,
and it's great because I'm already tapped all the way out mentally by the time I get to C2E2.
Right.
So having somebody else lead us around,
right.
Like, this is the cool thing over here. I'm like, cool, man, just point me the way.
She worked C2E2 a couple of years ago. She's doing like an info booth or something like that, or like the family headquarters or whatever. So she knows a little more how that stuff works, the actual inside details of it, which I don't at all. But she is the panel killer. Like, she knows, every year she tries to hit the, I missed it this year, the cartoon voice actors that voice movies. This last year, they did Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, but to the voices of their characters.
Oh, God.
They try to do a Chicago-themed movie every time they do a Chicago-themed con. So I really want to catch that. The WTF Japan thing was...
That was ridiculous.
Brilliant. I still have a bunch of those written down.
I think especially being in that room with my big cousin Chris.
Oh, yeah.
Was one of my favorite things.
That's also the first time I met Chris, too.
And we folded a lot of my cousins into the Trash Goblins because of C2E2.
Yeah. Like,
I've been trying to I went to Wizard World with my older cousins several years ago and was kind of surprised. Like, at the time, my cousin Chris lives in Minnesota. And he's 8 years older than me. Amanda's 4 years older than me. She lives in, suburbs of Chicago. And Chris got really into cosplay because he started cosplaying with a big group of his nerd friends out in Minnesota, and they had like a 10 people deep Mario Kart cosplay going on, and they had one year brought most of them to Chicago, and Amanda decided she was going to go too, and she was going to go as Princess Peach, and which I just thought was funny because I just didn't expect that from Amanda.
That's my favorite thing.
I was like, hey, that's cool.
When people cosplay this stuff, you never think they're going to cosplay.
Oh no, I just didn't think she would cosplay. Like so I was just like, wow, okay, cool. So I went as a Koopa Troopa, made a paper mache Koopa Troopa mask. And that's the first time, and like the only time thus far, I had cosplayed with Chris. And then I finally got him to go to C2E2 this year, and like had to twist his arm for him to get there from Minnesota. I was like, I will buy your ticket if you will just come to C2E2.
Yeah.
And he loved it so much. He
had such a good time.
That we're dragging the entire family this year.
Yeah, he really, I had just met him, and I can tell that he was having a super, super blast. He was smiles the entire time.
When we were in WTF Japan, though, he was like, this is like the kind of bonding experience I'm not sure you want to have with your cousin.
So WTF Japan was a room full of nerds that were watching just like, to our standards, really bizarre commercials or movies or, clips from Japanese media. And, man, like one of them, what was that one called? It was called The Butt.
Bad Butt.
Bad Butt. Yeah. And it was like, spoilers if you plan on watching Bad Butt, but it's about a girl's butt that comes to life and starts like eating people and talking, and it was the weirdest goddamn thing, but so enjoyable and so completely off the wall. And that set up although it wasn't the first thing that we saw, but that was definitely one of the highlights.
Yeah. I
would watch Japanese game shows all day if I could. This stuff slays me.
Absolutely. So, what do you think was like the down part, or did we cover that kind of?
Yeah, I mean the masks for me were a big problem, just because I wanted to see people's faces even beyond just being able to make my own facial expressions and stuff, just because I haven't seen people in forever.
Do you think that contributed to the, like, that low energy level, maybe?
Yeah, I think so, because we couldn't entirely be ourselves.
Yeah.
You know,
well, also, like, when you see somebody smile and grin at you from across the you know what I mean? Like, that is a shot of dopamine.
I was really trying to do the, like, Midwestern smile with my eyes thing, but I think...
you aren't good at that.
Well, but also I think a lot of the time it came off as me, like, sneering at people, but it's hard to tell because I have these little squinty eyeballs. Yeah, and, like, I don't have a problem wearing masks day to day. I never really had a problem.
Yeah.
I get to feel like a ninja every day. Works for me. But it was just that one extra boundary of like, oh, I want to see my friend's face.
Yeah.
That was the only real bummer that I had because honestly, the rest of that was a great time.
I agree. I think that was also my low. And then I think the highlight for me, I think, was just that Chris was there.
Yeah.
And that it, like, weirdly turned into, I don't know, it kind of, like, changed the vibe of Trash Goblins because it switched from us doing it with, like, a core group of friends to, like, this weird amalgamation of lots of people.
Yeah.
And the fact that, like, my family is now so included in that is really awesome because it's hard for me to see my family from Atlanta, you know?
Yeah, an
so
excuse,
like,
right?
Yeah, so the fact that they're like, yeah, we'll come meet you on your playing field. I'm like, hell yes.
Yep.
Guys, you don't even know how fun it's going to be.
And it's one of those things where, like, so many people want to be part of this. Like, I talk, like, people bring it up all the time. But you know, it's just a matter of adulting and if we can get in the same place at the same time. But, like when all those magical moments click and we're able to show up at a place and be there, be present with each other under that, like, Trash Goblins banner.
I mean,
it's really fun.
Ren Faire and C2E2 are going to be lit this year.
That's what I'm saying. It's going to be explodinated.
I'm almost sad. I'm wrapping up my year with Dragon Con, but we'll come back to that. Anyway.
When is that?
It's in September.
September.
I'm thinking about ditching it to go to the Jiu-Jitsu finals. But anyway.
I would.
So that was C2E2. And then the next one was
PAX, I think.
PAX East.
So I try to do PAX East every year. Clearly I couldn't because of COVID for a couple of years, but this is the first year they kicked it off again. And I initially go out to Boston. So PAX East is in Boston, PAX West is in Seattle, and then there's other PAXs all over the country and one in Australia. But PAX is Penny Arcade Expo, which is like the big game nerd convention. Because we used to just have like E3 or Consumer Electronics Show or whatever. But PAX those conventions were more for vendors and people that were in the industry and stuff like that. And you really couldn't get an invite unless you were part of it. But PAX is for the fans and people that were fans of Penny Arcade, the webcomic, which is what they had been doing for a billion years. So I would initially go to Boston to visit my friend Nick from college. He's in a wheelchair, so it's hard for him to get out anywhere else. So I just go visit him, and it just happened to coincide with PAX. We started doing that and it became a tradition since, like, I think 2014. I've been going to him.
We're definitely going to have Nick on the show at some point.
Yeah, we have to.
And Rosie, for that matter.
Yeah, absolutely, we have to. But PAX is, for me, the best con I've ever been to. It's the production value involved, the amount of content on the con floor it's a really big deal to me. I don't like cons that are just like, you know, a bunch of vendors sitting behind booths and you go to buy stuff. That's cool to be part of a convention, but it shouldn't be the basis of a convention. And PAX is almost nothing but showmanship. It's incredible. One of the first years I went, they had I think it was honestly like 20 feet tall. It's a giant T-Rex that you could ride on the back of when they were releasing Arc, I think, and take pictures and stuff. But so many different communities come together at PAX. And this last year, since it was the first time back after COVID, it was much smaller. There was a whole chunk in the middle that was sort of pulled out, and they just drove food trucks in, which is kind of perfect. But again, same thing like C2E2, like it wasn't butt to butt. You could walk around. Saturday was probably going to be a little wacky, but we just decided to not do Saturdays anymore because there's too much crazy stuff going on. But man, yeah, the low-key vibe of, hey, everybody's back. Let's see you weirdos again. What are we all getting into? Is so fun. That con feels like home now. And Nick was really, really thrilled about it too, because he lives maybe like 20 minutes away from the con, but like without it, it's such a huge, important part of this year for socialization. And so anything that happens at that con is just magnified by like 20 when we're there, especially when we're there together. I've only missed one or two because like C2E2 has intervened in it once or twice. But fantastic convention. Really cool. They have indie booths there for indie developers that are it used to be an entire zone called like the indie showcase, but now they sort of shortenized it into a smaller section that was much more intimate, and you can talk directly to the developers of these games and play beta tests and just kind of hang out with the people making the games, which is something you don't really think about doing until you're at a convention like that. You're like, oh, you're the kid that did all the artwork on this. Oh, you're the lady that did the voice acting. So I get weirdly starstruck about stuff like that. Even if it's some goofy little indie game off in the corner that nobody's ever heard of. I'm like, oh, you did the voice of the weird moving block with the eyeballs. I love you. But yeah, and one of these years I'm going to drag you to PAX, and it's going to be your favorite con too, guaranteed.
I'm sure.
It's so fun.
I'm trying to go next year. Yeah,
there's so much stuff going on at any point. That's also a con that goes on like all night too.
Yeah.
The show floor closes at like 7 or whatever, but everything, all the little side rooms, they have concerts, they have arcades, all sorts of stuff. Fewer this year because of, just coming back from COVID, but it is, man, every dollar that you pay for PAX, you get a huge return on.
What was, high point and low point? Or
low point, just the not having as much content as normal, but it was still fantastic. Mm-hmm. Like, Nintendo had all their big booths up, and high point, was it Double Fine? No. Tiny Build. Tiny Build is a company that makes a lot of indie games. Have you ever heard of Hello Neighbor? That's one of the big ones that they tried to push. But they had an entire carnival set up in the middle of the con this time. And they had literal carnival games that you could play for prizes and like beta keys for their games. So they had like whack-a-mole that you could just go up and play whack-a-mole. They had claw games, and they had one of those little punchy, smack the thing and see how hard you can punch the thing. And one of the best parts of the entire con is, so everybody that's at PAX, they just bro out no matter what. Mm-hmm. Doesn't matter what type of life you've had. But there were these particularly jockey dudes that were, tight t-shirts and the big old biceps, and they're getting ready to punch the hell out of this punchy game, and they knock it, and they're all talking about how great they did. And this like 7 to 10-year-old kid walks up after him, and he looks at it and he calculates it, smacks the hell out of it, and got like 200 points over everybody in that group. And they all sat and like, they kind of roasted the kid a little bit, but like in a nice way. And then they started asking him about technique, and it turns out this kid had researched how to do this carnival game on Google.
Oh my god.
He's like, you got to hit it right here at this angle, and you got to move like this. And they were like, oh, a bunch of nerds taking notes on how to beat the game.
Although I think you just dated yourself by calling them jocks. I haven't heard that word in a while.
Look at these jocks, man, wearing your Letterman's jacket and your class ring. What do you call jocks now?
I don't know.
Meatheads? That's old too.
I don't know.
Jock's still a thing. That's what Gryffindors. They were Gryffindors. If ever there was a jock house, it's Gryffindor.
Oh, man.
Am I wrong? I'm wrong.
What's next? What came first? Georgia Ren Faire or
Georgia Ren Faire
ACEN?
before ACEN.
Okay.
Yeah. So, first time at Georgia Fair, that was really weird. First time for me at Georgia Fair because it's the same people that do Bristol out here.
Yeah.
And even the fonts on the signs were the same thing.
Yeah.
So automatically, even though it was a completely different area, a lot of the same shows and everything, I felt right at home as soon as I walked in. Like, I know that sign with turkey leg. I know what this is all about. So that was really cool.
I've been, now to California, Arizona, a couple other ones, I think. And Bristol, obviously Bristol's home base. But the Georgia one, you're right. Like, it felt immediately like home.
They're super, super the same. So much the same person.
And in some ways, I don't know. It's hard to compare the two because there is so much overlap.
Yeah.
And of course, like, some of my favorite acts are both, including Barely Balanced.
You are right, though. They did have better washerwomen.
Yes.
The Georgia washer ladies were too damn funny.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
We're going to have to hunt down the ones this year and watch their show and do a compare and contrast because they were really good.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the ones this year hang out outside the bar, but I can't remember.
Oh, there's actually a couple more. I have a list, actually, of acts that we should catch this year by people that used to work there.
I've seen it. Like, I went in, because I tried to put up, like, a rough list of what we might go see on Saturday on the website, and was like, wow, these, I haven't heard of like half of these before.
Yeah, it's to the point where I've been going for so long that I've stuck with the main ones so often that a lot of the times I just don't think about seeing the other newer stuff.
I'm kind of counting on that. So, like, I'm assuming, actually, we'll get back into that later.
Mm-hmm. Georgia first, yes.
So it was a little bit of a whirlwind because we previewed new costumes at that one.
Oh, yeah.
And
good Lord.
Yeah, we did Willow, so we went as Mad Mardigan and Sorsha, and at a glance, Sorsha looked like it was going to be a very simple costume. It was not. It was not a simple costume. It turned into a much more in-depth costume, and of course, like, that meant lots of sleepless nights leading up to the fair.
I just said, like, 3 days in a row up till 4 a.m.
Yeah.
Type of a situation.
Yeah. And then, I think Mardigan came out fine, but Mike has some...
Yeah, it just didn't... So I did Mad Mardigan, and I had to shave my face, which is a huge ego hit for me. Like, I've had these face pubes forever, so not having them is weird. It's very, like... Samson loses his powers kind of a situation. But, like, I couldn't quite figure out the hair. You eventually figured out that, the top knot version of Mardigan looks better on me. But, like, nothing quite fit right for what I wanted it to be. Like, I had most of my old pirate outfit that was converted to Mardigan. I was really proud of I made the little clay.
Oh, those things were so adorable.
The brownies from Willow, I was really proud of. I made little clay dudes, and I painted them, and I made, like, little... leather loincloths for them. I gave them little butts and little cutie marks. Their hair was paintbrush that I clipped off and glued on. Those I was really proud of. But I just think because it was the first time out of the gate and I wasn't 100% sure. Maybe it was not being in my own territory too. I don't know. I want to do that costume again. I just want to fine tune it a little more.
Yeah. I think, too, part of the problem with Mardigan is that, like, apart from your little brownies...
He's just a dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking about doing his armor, the actual armor, but I thought, like... I wonder how many people understood who I was without having seen the brownies. Because, like, if I see Mardigan in the movie, or if I see, like, he's a striking character, but I don't look like him facially. I don't look like Val Kilmer's face. He's got, like, that trippy Cupid's bow and everything, right? So...
I don't know. I think that if you fully shaved your face, you'd have a better shot. But I know that that's not going to happen.
Man, never again.
But I do think that that is one of the key parts of the problem.
Yeah. I shaved it down quite a bit, but it wasn't completely to the nub. Because he had like a little 5 o'clock shadow going on.
Yeah.
I thought he had a mustache for most of my life because of the way his lips have that little shadow. His pouty Cupid's bow smoochies. Like, honestly, look at him in that movie, and like when he turns, there's shadows over his lips that look like a little John Waters creep stash.
Oh my god.
Or some kind of, 5 o'clock that's going into a goatee or something. So I didn't even realize that he was a shaved face until I started researching for this outfit. But it'll get there. It was definitely the pirate shirt was very baggy, and it should have been much tighter for Mardigan. But I will do his trippy gold armor, sans stupid helmet, because that thing is dumb as hell looking. The tall egg with the ponytail on the top. Mm-hmm. Or maybe I'll just like carry it on the side or something. But I haven't done armor in a while, so that will be an enjoyable one.
That was my first time really doing that foam armor stuff, and it didn't come out bad. Like, it looked all right, but I didn't use thick enough foam for the pieces that I needed to make. So they just kind of, especially in the Georgia heat, it was like 100 degrees that day. So everything, like all of the sealants, everything just started popping and warping throughout like before we even got, 20 feet into that place.
Yeah.
So it was not a good day for me. Eventually it kind of it sunk in, and we had managed to patch things together. But then so much of the day was super gluing shit back onto the costume.
Little rivets were jumping off. Yeah. Leaving like little Terminator liquid mercury trails.
Yeah. So that I'll have to do an update of that, or at least secure the armor a little bit better.
I do think 90% of that was just the thickness of the foam that you used. If you'd used like that puzzle piece crap that I have in the basement,
I couldn't do that for a chest plate though.
Couldn't do it as in like
for the boots. I definitely should have, but not for. I don't think I could have done that for a chest plate.
But you can. I'll show you some tricks. There are some tricks. The tricks that you did where you were chopping it, like, because you were basing.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like, for something to be that form fitting on a woman, you can't use something that thick.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can get a lot of bend out of those.
I'm not worried about the bend. I'm worried about it, like,
the actual
having
form.
to be form fitting.
That's fair.
Because that's adding it's like adding literal inches onto your waist. No girl wants that.
Right. Right. Well, and that's the other thing too. Like, I've been, since I primarily work with those. So we're talking about those puzzle piece floor tiles that are like anti-fatigue mats for workshops, and that's generally what I use for EVA foam. And I used to just use, whatever thickness I got of them, but now I've been figuring out how to sand down and make actual grooves and valleys in the backs of it, so it will shape a little more to me, like not to the level that you need it for that costume, but and then the other thing figuring out is after I had sanded the hell out of it with a Dremel and left all these big old gouge marks in it, it was just because I was using that sander disc. So I started using the grinding tools that are specifically for like grinding down and sharpening other tools. And those things work like gangbusters on EVA foam of that thickness because it doesn't leave those gouges.
Right.
So like I leveled up this last year being able to shape it a little more. But yeah, I see what you're saying. It's not exactly what you need for something like that.
But the thing, I think I already know how to fix it. I guess it's all kind of an aside, but I already know what I got to do to fix it. It's more just like it's going to be additional steps, which is why we're not going to wear them for Bristol.
Yeah.
But maybe for next year we'll fix them up.
That's also a property that's so close to my heart that I really want to do it right. So having done this initial run, I'm glad we did that. So now I can, spot the problems and fix it up. But next time I wear it, it's going to have to be over the top good.
So I think sounds like the low point for us is that the costumes did not quite come out the way that we had hoped. And or like mine came out pretty good, but it was a pain in the ass.
Yeah, right. They both came out okay. None of this was a fiasco. It was a good time at the fair. They turned out pretty damn well. People recognized us like right away.
Oh yeah, yeah.
We had a lot of people.
I mean, I think mine came out pretty damn good. It just if it would stay together.
Yeah, yeah. That's always the first run though.
Right.
Any first costume you do is just a bucket of balls that's falling apart. Yeah. I'm used to that now. But the rest of that fair was incredible. I knew I was going to have a good time when I walked in and I saw the pond with the little froggies in it. And like the frog statue with his little doot-doot horn. I'm like, oh, hell yeah, okay.
And the gargoyle.
Oh, the gargoyle. So the guy dressed up like the gargoyle. And so it's tied. My favorite things, like performers there, was tied between that guy and then the fairies that were blowing the soap bubbles with their hands. Mm-hmm. That was the coolest. So they had that like autumn fairy with like the little acorn hat. And then as we were leaving, we had this one fairy girl who was like she didn't speak, but she just kind of like beckoned me over. And I was like, yeah, oh, hey, what you need? What's going on? And she made a little soap bubble with her hand and blew the bubble. And then she reached out and took my hand and put both of our hands together. And when my hand opened up, she had put a little marble in my hand. It's like she turned the soap bubble into a marble.
That's awesome.
It was so freaking cute. And little stuff like that has always made my day ever since I was a little kid. Even if it's like a goofy little trick, just you're part of magic, you know? It's so adorable. Cute. Oh, they were so cute. There was some really good cosplay this year. At that con, I should say, that I had never seen before. Like it's hard to describe Ren Faire cosplay though, because
it's whatever.
Yeah, they're not characters in particular. They're just like
sometimes they are, but
yeah. But a lot of the times, just like, did you see that guy with all the bones and like the dark eyes? That was cool. Which one? But yeah, definitely, I would love to make that a tradition. I'd go back there every year. That was really fun.
Okay. So, let's back it up for a second. Talk about the cosplays that we did at each of them. We don't have to go into details, but we can mention it. All right, so that one, obviously, we did Willow, so we did Sorsha and Red Mardigan.
Right.
For PAX East, which was just Mike, you only did the one, right?
I just had Strider this year.
Okay.
Because it was the easiest to fit into a suitcase, and airlines are ridiculous and charging $1 bajillion for everything now. But I did add new stuff to Strider, like I made the new belt.
Yeah, you had
stuff like that. Yeah. So I debuted a couple of new pieces for it. But that's like the perfect PAX cosplay because it is from a video game that a lot of people don't really see very often.
What is the video game?
It's from Strider.
Okay.
The original one was the old Nintendo game, and then there was arcade versions and whatnot. Shows up in Capcom fighting games and stuff, but it's one that we don't really see done very often out here. So when people see it and recognize it, they flip out. That was really cool. Really quick. One more thing about PAX. There was a section for Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, which is the new Borderlands game coming out. And that Gearbox hires amazing cosplayers and actors to do the characters from their games. So they had a Tiny Tina and a Mad Moxie that were out there. And they were doing the voice perfectly. They were doing everything great. And as I walked by in my Strider outfit, they like broke character to be like, "Oh my God, are you Strider? You look incredible!" And they like demanded a hug and a picture from me.
Awesome.
So that was super, super cool. And then as soon as I walked away, right back into character, and they started doing like the crazy Tina voice. That was a really cool experience.
Did we get any? I did get people asking for pictures with me as Sorsha.
Oh, for sure.
It was weird. That was a weird one because I would just hear whispers of people like, "Oh, it's Sorsha."
Yeah. Right.
It's like, wow.
I kind of like those though.
Yeah.
I like just as much as I like the people that come up and they're like, "Holy crap!"
Yeah.
The people that are in the background that are like, "Did you see the Strider over there?" When you kind of hear it, like you're an urban legend in the crowd.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
And then C2E2 last year, 2021 was. Oh God, I already don't remember.
What did we do? Jeez.
We did Squirrel Girl and Craven.
Yeah.
We did.
We didn't do Turtles.
No.
One day I went no costume, or one day I went vault suit, right, for Fallout?
Yeah, you did Fallout. I did Red Sonja.
What was the in-between one? Because we had a couple, we had a few that were together.
Yeah. We did Craven and Squirrel Girl. That day was the Randos. That was the day Chris came.
Strider and Sonia.
It was Strider and Sonia.
Strider,
you're
Sonia,
right,
and then he was Fix-It Felix.
Fix-It Felix, that's right. And then the last day we did What We Do in the Shadows.
Yeah, we did.
God damn it, you were so right about that. That was the most fun I've ever had wearing a costume.
Dude, the picture of you standing in front of our fireplace with that little goofy deacon smirk is one of the best pictures I've ever seen of you. So freaking...
I think literally every picture of me that day is...
incredible.
You know, so me and Mike argued about this, because I went as Deacon, and he went as Vladislav.
Vladislav.
And I really wanted to be Nadja, because she is my freaking soul. But Mike was like, no, you gotta go as Deacon. And I looked at him like he was absolutely bananas. I was like, what do you mean I gotta go as Deacon? He's like, are you kidding? He's like, who else could pull that off? And I was like,
it's so perfect.
But I so wanted to be Nadja. And then I finally, I think getting closer to it was like, you know what, fine.
But also everybody's being Nadja.
I know, it's true.
Everybody's being the What We Do in the Shadows show people.
I know.
Nobody does the movie
it's
ones.
True.
People kept confusing me for, what the hell's his name?
Nandor.
Nandor, yeah. They kept, hey, Nandor. But again, because I had the mask on, so they couldn't see the full deal. And then they saw the cat, cat with the face on it, because I never get the faces right, and they're like, oh.
Yeah, but, you were totally right. Deacon is the most fun I've ever had.
I'm telling you. We got to get that.
It's really sassy about it that morning.
We got to get that the skull cod piece for you, that's the win.
That's my goal. I forgot that's the thing I need to do before C2B2 this year. Yeah, so okay, that was it. And then wait, what was Luigi? Chris went as Luigi.
That's right. Yeah.
And then I don't remember.
I should also mention too that even though Rosie doesn't cosplay, not because she doesn't want to, she just hasn't really found her groove yet.
Yeah.
But she does dress for the occasions.
Yes, she does.
She's really in love with the ideas. Like, we've gone through so many of those cool people that like dress in the style of Disney princesses or Pokemon or whatever, right? So it's like the right colors and the right sort of vibe.
Yeah.
I love that stuff, and she loves it too. So I think if she does anything, she's going to want to do that. She's also talking about wanting to do Rogue from X-Men.
Oh, God, she'd be so good.
I know. She was talking about doing Agatha from WandaVision.
Oh,
with Agatha all along.
Yeah.
So she definitely has some stuff in the bucket that she wants to try that I think we're just going to have to nudge her into. I just think she's too shy to like start it.
Yeah, for sure. We'll get her.
Mm-hmm.
Last one is ACEN.
Oh, ACEN, yeah. It was my sister's first time there. My second or third, I guess. So ACEN, I actually don't remember what ACEN stands for, but it's the Anime
Central,
and then unless A is anime and CEN is central.
I think that.
I figured it out. Woo! That's a much smaller convention because I just feel like the stuff at I almost called it Rosemont. The Donald E. Stevens Convention Center in Rosemont, Illinois. When we grew up, it was the Rosemont Convention Center and Rosemont Horizon and all that crap. So I still have trouble switching my brain over it. But it's a much smaller space. Like lower ceilings make a big difference in a con too, I feel like. Mm-hmm. And, that's where Wizard World and all that other stuff was. So it feels like a more intimate convention. But I am a big anime fan, but I'm not at all up on it. There's so much anime I've never seen.
Yeah, same.
So, if there was a costume at a con that I didn't know, I would chalk it up to either being a League of Legends character or an anime character, right? So this is just a bunch of characters I'd never seen before, but good Lord, the amount of time that anime nerds put into their costumes is bananas. One of the coolest things that we saw there was, have you seen Shovel Knight, the little 8-bit, like Nintendo retro-looking game?
No.
It's this little blue dude in armor, and he's got little horns, and it looks like an old Nintendo game. But somebody had done Shovel Knight armor in like a highly detailed, realistic style. So he had like this big old evil shovel. He looked like he was from Guar, basically.
That's awesome.
It was dope as hell. And then it was just like a nice chill time. They don't have as much stuff. I don't like to go to conventions at that hall as much because it seems like there's less stuff to do there. Yeah. But they did have the giant arcade in the background, so we did go hang out and play with a bunch of other sweaty nerds like rhythm games and stuff like that. So that was cool. So it was you, Rosie, your sister Anna. Yeah, and Dan works there. Yeah, he was. I think he's volunteering. So Anna is as stated, Mike's sister. She's got a mini bio on our page. Rosie is in Trash Goblins HQ, and she's got a bio. Dan also, I think, is HQ. Yeah, he's also in the HQ and has a bio on our page. I don't know how much of a page he has though, because he hasn't done much cosplay yet. None of them have like full pages right now. Yeah, we eventually will fill those out a little more. Right now is sort of like an introduction, and then we're going to try to get various members of our rotating cast of weirdos, right, to come on the podcast and talk more about how they got into cosplay and how we all met each other and stuff. Give everybody some background, right? But for now, it can remain mysteries, and we can refer to these people, and y'all can go find them on our webpage. Yeah, Anna really likes doing cosplay, but she doesn't like doing it alone. So, if we're going to a thing, then she wants to go along. Then she wants to do the thing. She's working on a bunch of really cool. She wanted to do that Sien Ko from Darkstalkers cosplay, but she couldn't finish it in time, so we just went plain clothes. But that was fine. So nobody cosplayed for that one. Did I wear anything? No, I think we all just went regular. Yeah. We just dressed kind of anime-ish. Yeah. We just, wore like occasional little bits of anime stuff, which is actually kind of freeing because it's so rare that I go to a con and I don't wear stuff. But that was cool. That was like being part of the crowd, hiding in plain sight kind of situation. But I will say the coolest part of ACEN we didn't really get to engage in as much. So ACEN, the con floor itself, is pretty okay. There's some cool stuff there. Like I said, the gaming section is off the chain. They have all these really weird Japanese rhythm games, and they have like DDR and stuff like that. But the hotel that's connected to it is where they do all the fun events, and that's technically free. You can just go to the hotel and like go to they have the library from the board game library from Gen Con comes there. So if you go into the basement, you can just pull out a board game and play whatever the hell you want until like forever because it doesn't close. It's at the hotel. But we didn't get to do as much of that stuff. We were just all kind of burnt out by the amount of people. But in general, like ACEN is not one of the ones I'm super excited about, but when I go, I do have a good time. Yeah. And it depends on who you go with, clearly. But, oh my God, it was also like the horniest convention I'd ever been to. Oh my God. Shocking no one. But I mean, like, because I had been to ACEN 5 years before that. And, every anime con is going to have a little bit of, like, horny content. But this time it was like, holy damn, just like banners of boobs and banging and artwork, like really salacious artwork all over the place. It was striking, like, how much was just in your face immediately as soon as you walked in. Not in a bad way. I was just like, oh, damn. Like, they used to be in the back. It was like that one weird sweaty guy. But no, it was all over the place. And it was actually really funny. So, like, you'd have these cute little, Final Fantasy charms and, like, Dice Shop. And then, bam, straight up LGBT porn right in the corner, So that was really funny. And it was Anna's first time being at the convention. Yeah. So she was like, oh. It's like, wow. You can get away with anything here. And I'm like, yes, you can. It was really funny. She also ended up meeting friends of hers from high school that had booths there that were like artists. It has a really solid artist alley. I didn't realize how different the artist alley in ACEN was than C32 and PAX because it's not that there's a wider range of artwork, but there's a wider range of like, I don't like to delineate between art and craft because it's all art. But like, I got that weird little knitted pickle in a jar. People were like knitting little Pokemon balls and stuff like that. So there was a lot more quirky, kitschy stuff that I didn't expect to see that I actually bought a fair amount of. It was really cute. So it seems to be a more of a like crafty convention, which I think is kind of cool.
Word.
Yeah.
Well, so high point, low point?
Oh my God. This is going to sound really dumb, but the high point was the con itself was really cool, but they have the Wild Bill's booth there. And so I just learned about Wild Bill's booth this year at PAX East. So what it is you buy this metal mug for $1 bajillion. It's like between $40 and $60. But the Wild Bill's soda company makes these old-timey sodas that are really good, and they're only like cane sugar. So once you buy the mug, you can just refill all day. And they have, whatever flavor you want. And anytime you bring this mug to another convention where they will let you do a refill. You pay like $5 or something, and then you do the whole weekend. And as weird as it sounds, I was the most excited about that because the flavors were so weird and good. Like they had birch beer and like these cherry sodas and I'm not even a soda guy, but I was just like, you want to try this one? You want to try? Like I'm intentionally drinking extra soda so we can get to the next flavor. And me and Anna were just kind of like orbiting around it for a couple of hours. It sounds stupid, but it was so good. Low points. It did get a little wall to wall in some places. Like some obviously more popular zones of the con were kind of hard to get to. And, man, I'm going to have to put a PSA out here right now. If you are a con goer and you're going to be around a bunch of other people, please take a shower.
Oh, God.
Please wear some deodorant. There was some definite pollution zones that we had to get through over there, especially around like the rhythm and motion games, people playing DDR walking over there. No. Dude, it was all like corn chips and moldy socks.
Oh no.
But that's really it. It's weird because it's a really clean convention. They've always had hand sanitizers and stuff way before COVID and all that stuff. But yeah, sometimes people just forget. And that was definitely evident.
I feel like, though, if you're going to do that kind of a game, you can't not have it, right? Like, you can't not have that at the con. If you're going to do that level of physical activity, you're going to get sweaty.
Well, it's not just over there, though.
Okay.
Is what I'm saying. Like, we had to walk through a couple zones that were, like, it was tinted green, Then
here's a bit of advice from somebody who gets sweaty in public places often.
Yeah.
P.S. It's because I do jujitsu, you freaking weirdos. Don't. But bring wet wipes.
Yeah.
God. There are a lot of things you can just fit in your bag.
Yeah.
Change of underwear, some wet wipes, some deodorant.
It would have done very well there.
Dry shampoo. Those are if you have those things, you'd be okay.
And I know you love your fandoms. Just don't wear a black hoodie in 90-degree weather. It's a big problem. Like, I love y'all, but, there's other better ways to go about it.
Yeah.
And I swear to God, finding those, I don't know what the brand is, but it's like the things that the military uses for like a shower in a bag, the little shower towels.
Yeah.
Holy crap, those have saved my life, man. They're like cooling towels, and they have the little rubby nubbies on them, so it doesn't matter what convention I'm at. I just go to the bathroom 5 minutes later, I'm like, oh my God. I feel so much better.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it wasn't a huge deal, but it was noticeable with this one. That's all.
Yeah, and whatever you do, don't try to cover it up with cologne. It's not going to work. Just makes it worse.
Yep.
Then
it's just rotten fruit.
Yeah. Oh, man. Okay, so I think that wraps up all the stuff we have already done in the last 6 to some more than 6 months.
Who knows?
Time
is a construct.
So coming up next, we have Bristol Renaissance Fair. That's this Saturday.
This Saturday.
That's going to be super fun because, first of all, Bristol is our home base. Like, that is where both of us started cosplaying, if you could even call it that at the time.
Yeah.
And, you know, really leaning in to being a nerd, but also just, like, being really okay with being, like, a nerd with other nerds. And, being public about it, I guess.
Bristol is one of the few places on this planet that I feel completely at home.
Yeah, yeah. And to, you know, like, going back, and I think, like, on our events, our community page right now, we have the schedule for, like, meetup points throughout the day.
Yeah.
And mind you, this is not just for, like, any of y'all listening or people who are gonna, like, who already responded to our Facebook event, but there is a Facebook, you can find our Facebook page. We have events posted for all these so that people can communicate with each other and find us.
Yeah.
Or, you know, like, we're going to post, we have posted meetup times and places throughout the day so that people can actually know where to hang out with us.
Yeah, that's really important too, because usually at Ren Fairs it's kind of out in the sticks and the internet is sucked.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Don't rely on trying to find us via Messenger or something.
Right. So that's the thing to stick to. And, you know, it's not just for all of y'all. It's also because there are going to be so many of us representing at Bristol this year. This will be the first time I'm going, like, I started off going with my cousins, not the cousins I already mentioned. This will be their first time at Bristol, but they are coming this year.
I didn't know.
Yeah, Amanda's coming with the kids.
I didn't know it was her first time.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then the Heddle clan are all coming. So, and I started off going to Renaissance Fair with Will and Lindsay.
Is little baby Big Head going to be wearing anything?
No, I don't think he's coming. I don't.
Oh no! Okay.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
that's a shame.
So my cousin Will is the only one on that side of the family with a baby. I guess Amanda's the only one on the other side with a baby. But my cousin, we were trying to get him to bring his son. His son is like 2 now, but he's like, I'm not bringing him. Like, he's been being away about it. And I'm really sad because I think the kid would have so much fun.
It'll happen.
But if the kid has so much fun, Will has less fun.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I think it's going to be with Carson too. That's my nephew. He's I don't know if he'll be coming this year, but that kid is going to be a severe Ren Faire acolyte. I guarantee it. With this family, with his father.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Yeah. So we're going to be in quite a few people. My parents are both coming.
Yay! I didn't know that.
Yeah, my dad's bringing his girlfriend, so I'll meet her for the first time at Ren Faire. Seems appropriate. I think some of my aunts and uncles are coming too.
No kidding.
Yeah. And my friend Jessica's coming with her husband and her son. I think there's actually probably more people I'm forgetting.
Yeah, on my side, it's all probablys and maybes, but nobody's ever actually super sure, which is fine. I just like the idea of, like, running into people there.
Yeah.
You know? As long as people are having fun at my second home, I'm happy.
Yeah.
You don't have to be there with me the whole time. I just want to see your face for like 2 seconds.
So yeah, that'll be this Saturday. And then next thing after that will be C2E2.
Yeah.
I'm very excited about that.
Total time.
And then, you know, end of summer, I'll be going solo probably for Dragon Con.
Yay!
Yeah. I really think I'm only going to go one day though. So everybody that I know that usually does Dragon Con has bailed this year. None of them want to go.
Oh, really?
I promised Trinette I would take her for her birthday this year. That was like my birthday present, was I was going to take her this year.
She boogied out?
No, but I can't, like, unless we get a hotel room with other people, it is not affordable to do that.
Yeah.
And I don't want to, like, drag her, you know, from Chicago to Georgia and then be like, we're not. You know how it was last year.
I do.
If you don't know what's going on and you don't know where the things are or where the people are, it's, like, not really worth being there.
It's a con across an entire downtown area.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
So because everybody else I know from Georgia and that knows that con is bailing this year, I probably will only make a showing and not stick around for the whole thing.
Yeah, just cruise it one day. That makes sense.
Yeah, but we will see what happens.
I hope Bernie Sanders in the chair again is there. That was my highlight for the last one.
Yeah. Yep. And then so Bristol will be next. Mm-hmm. And if you are listening and you hear this before we go to Bristol, which will be July 16th. Please find us on Facebook at Trash Goblins Inc. on Facebook, or go to our website. That's the easiest way to find us, trashgoblinsinc.com. Or you can find us on Instagram at trashgoblins.inc. And we're in all those places. And hopefully, sign up for our mailing list. That's another thing that we're trying to get off the ground. Oh yeah, that's right. So Bristol will be the sort of the beginning of us. We have been, when we can, passing out little stamps and things with our info on it when we get to cons. But we're going to do this new thing that is going to feed into a much larger scheme for our fans, or for people listening, or for, Trash Goblin, our larger Trash Goblin community. And we are going to start making some coins to give out at all these events, and they're going to be event specific. Yeah. So you'll know, when it comes time to use the coins for things, we'll know where you got it from. But in the meantime, it's a little memento for y'all. Yeah. Has our information on it so you can remember who we are. But also, you will only get them if you sign up for our mailing list. Right.
But free swag for an email is pretty good.
Yeah.
And it will be a gamified situation over time. It'll be an evolving sort of game situation as time goes on. We won't talk about the details because the surprise is half the fun. But it's going to be a lot more interactive than you might expect. So pay attention to after the con, what starts to happen.
Yeah, so we'll, and after the cons too, after this kind of crazy month and a half is done, then we can start planning some more local events that are not, so you don't have to come out to big cons and deal with huge crowds, because that's not everybody's jam. Right. But we may be able to do smaller, more local stuff, get back into actual gaming with people, doing some Mike does a lot of games, so we're trying to plan some of those, especially for the fall and the winter.
Yeah, board games are going to be a big deal. Yeah, very soon.
Yeah, so stay tuned. Find us on the things. Sign up on the website. Sign up for the mailing list, and otherwise, we will hopefully see y'all soon.
Yeah, thanks for listening, everybody. Okay, bye.
Okay, bye. What's up, gobbies and goblets? This is Nick from the Trash Goblins, here to let you know that while we didn't talk about it in the show, because we're still kind of new, all of the events that we talked about now have galleries up on our website. You can find that at trashgoblinsinc.com and scroll to the galleries page, and you can go to cons, and there should be con photos from each event that we discussed. If you are in any of our pictures, you find pictures of yourself somewhere, and you would like us to tag you in stuff, please find our contact page and get a hold of us. Let us know. We are happy to share our, whatever platform. It's not a platform. We live in a trash can. Whatever with you, and blast your stuff everywhere, because that's why we took a picture with you. All right. Thanks all, and see you soon.